Team bench areas. Thank you for your cooperation, and go Knights! In accordance with tradition here at Southern Virginia University, we will begin with a word of prayer, which will be offered by Caitlin Warner, a freshman on the cross-country and track and field teams.
Our dear and most gracious Heavenly Father, we are so very grateful for this beautiful day that we've had today. We are so grateful that the other team could come here in safe travels, and we pray, Heavenly Father, that each player can play to their best abilities and guide them in each of their actions. We are again grateful for this beautiful day, and we say this in thy Son, Jesus Christ, amen.
Now, if you will all please rise and face the flag for the playing of our nation's team. And now for your starting lineups. Starting for the Flames, at outside hitter, the graduate senior, number 4, Cross Edwards. At middle blocker, freshman, number 7, Zachary Lamoureux. At center, senior, number 8, Kenneth Keith. At middle blocker, senior, number 9,
Good
John
evening,
Sauer.
ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Knight Arena at Southern Virginia University, the site of tonight's NCAA Division III men's volleyball match between the Flames of Liberty University and your Southern Virginia University Knights. I'm Dawson Weeder, joined once again by my good friend and Southern Virginia softball assistant coach Colby Kemp, and we thank you for joining us tonight for this presentation of Southern Virginia athletics on the Knights Broadcasting YouTube channel. Now, men's volleyball at Southern Virginia is one of the sports that gets the entire university excited due to the success they've had in recent years, and for good reason. Starting out 3-0 this season on the official record, technically 4-0 if you count the exhibition match against North Carolina last week. What do you say, Corey, about this start for Southern Virginia so far?
Well, I'd have to agree with you. And first of all, it's one of the flagship programs of the athletic department, right? Multiple appearances in the NCAA tournament. And this start is basically what we would have come to expect from a men's volleyball team here, especially coached by the legendary Tom Peterson.
Absolutely. Again, starting out the season 3-0, they have yet to lose a single set this year in the young 2023 season. And, of course, they're facing off against the Flames of Liberty University, the club team for Liberty University, just down the road in Lynchburg, Virginia. And I got a chance to talk to Coach Peterson before this game, talking about Liberty. And I asked him about some keys for the game. And Coach Peterson, and the way that he described things so simply, he said, well, if we don't want to lose this game, we need to play well. Simple as that. But, of course, he expounded a little bit more than that. He said that Liberty always plays well against Southern Virginia. They always try to give them as much as they can handle. And they've developed a sort of rivalry over the past couple of years where they bring out the best in each other in these competitions. So they need to bring a lot of intensity if you're Southern Virginia. And for Liberty, they have 2 club All-American players. In number 1, the libero, Mason Ellenberger, and number 4, the outside hitter, Cross Edwards. 2 players that are very, very skilled. Also, Coach Peterson raved about number 13, Tyler Wemple, outside hitter. He says he's a phenomenal passer. Says that he's able to really get their offense going. And so Coach Peterson said we really need to be careful of where we place our serves tonight. We need to make sure that we can't allow them to have good, solid offensive setups. But also, they have to work around a wall tonight in number 12, Jared Vasquez.
Yeah, at 6'9", that's going to present a new challenge that the Knights haven't yet faced this year. And, they absolutely have the athletes to combat that wall. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that height there at the block at the net.
Absolutely. And one other thing that Coach Peterson said about this game is, again, mentioning that Liberty University is a club team. One thing that tends to happen with a lot of games against club programs, like, for instance, last week Southern Virginia faced off against the club team of North Carolina University. One thing that tends to happen is it can kind of lull you to sleep. It can give you a sort of false sense of security, thinking we got this, we can handle this, but then the club team comes in and gives you more than you can handle sometimes and makes things closer than maybe you would have thought possible.
Absolutely. You can't look at it and think that's a club team. That means they're not very good. You have to realize Liberty it's the largest institution in the state of Virginia. So they have a lot of students to choose from. Whether it's a club team or not, they have the pick from a lot of students. So, I look forward to this matchup. I think Coach Peterson is really hoping that Liberty can show some resistance tonight and really force his players to push their limits and see, where they're at. We talked a little bit before the game. It's time, after these first 3 matches in the exhibition to kind of figure out just how good these Knights can be.
Absolutely. We will find that out in this game as number 15 for Southern Virginia, Jayton Hall, is set to serve, the sophomore from Quinn Creek, Arizona. We talk about Liberty University. That university has come into prominent conversation in the nation because of both their basketball and football programs. They've really become the go-to athletic program in the state of Virginia. Like you said, that first serve from Jayton Hall goes a little too far. First point to the Flames. And Liberty recently faced off against the University of Virginia Tech, and that was a intense matchup, to say the least. Liberty coming in here after losing that game. They were up 2-1 over the Hokies, but then lost the game in 5 sets. And so I also talked to Coach Peterson about the mentality as that serve goes to the net, ties it up at 1. I talked to Coach Peterson about the mentality of a team after losing a game like that. How do you prepare for a team like that's going to come in with all the fire and intensity in the world after losing a game like that? That serve from Brown. Here's the outside. That's going to go out on the Knights. I'll go down as a kill for number 4, Cross Edwards. No surprise there, one of the Club All-Americans in the Flames roster. Back to serve for the Flames is number 7, Zachary Lamoureux. Here's Schaefer, the Schaefer special. Order up, hot and fresh. Almost never ceases to fail when the Schaefer brothers connect.
That was a good receive there by Christian. Of course, his mouth's watering. He sees a serve coming his direction. He's not going to mess that pass up to his brother.
Absolutely not, or else he'll never hear the end of it afterwards. Now back to serve for the Knights is Cristo Bianchim from Sao Paulo, Brazil. And that goes down as a block for Christian Schaefer. Good start for the sophomore. Here's Bianchim once again. Here's a setup for the Flames. Great dig that time from Brown. Schaefer special again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Now we mentioned Jared Vasquez, who goes 6'9", but he actually left the game after serving. So he's not even in there to defend that. And right now that wall for Liberty is not that tall.
And again, in rotations like this, you have to take advantage when you have that. Again, when you have a 6'9" middle blocker out of the game, you attack the net as much as possible. Dig that time from Bianchim. It goes over the net and out of bounds, so point to the Flames. Despite the great hustling effort that time from Christian Schaefer, trying to dive across, get it back over, so they can get a third hit back over the net. Now back to serve is Cross Edwards, the graduate senior from Bedminster, Pennsylvania. That serve just short. Another point to the Knights. Tyler Schaefer will be back to serve, and Tyler Schaefer has started off the season really, really well. He's averaging 9.09 assists per set. He's got a total of 100 assists so far in the season, and if he continues at this pace, which again, very early on in the season, he could very well be on pace to set the school record for assists in a season. Again, only 3 games into it, but if you keep it up, there's no telling what he can do.
And with the hitters that he has around him, he's going to be feeding them all season long. So I don't expect that pace to drop off by very much at all.
And it won't drop off very much if he keeps passing like that to Rasmussen, who gets the kill over the middle. Christian Schaefer back to serve. The Knights now have a 2-point lead in this first set. That serve just to the outside. Now back to serve for the Flames is number 8, Kenneth Keith. Keith, the senior from Baragada, Guam. Jaden Hall with another very smart tap. We saw that a couple of times against the University of North Carolina. He would go up and it looked like he was about to put in a lot of power into it, but he'd see an opening. And he'd just place it in that general direction and get some points. Again, playing very smart. That serve from Rasmussen. A little strong, so it goes out. Knights so far in the early going, very much struggling to contain the power on their serves, which is a pattern we've seen throughout this early part of the season. Now back to service number 13, Tyler Wemple. That serve just short, and it's the same from both teams. Both teams struggling in the early goings.
Yeah, Liberty's been a little short on their serves, and SVU been a little bit long.
You can expect both to even out at some point. So by the time the third set happens, they're about the same place. Here's Hall back to serve. Love the idea. Didn't sound like it made quite the contact he wanted it to. Got some substitutions for the Flames in number 9, John Sauter, and number 18, that is Zachary Bell, who is back to serve. The freshman from Porter Corners, New York. Another short serve for the Flames. Come back in for the Flames is libero number 1, Mason Ellenberger. With Jeremy Brown back to serve for the Knights. Contact was made by Bianchine, but it goes just out. Brings it back within 1. Now back to serve for the Flames is number 7, Zachary Lamoureux. You know, at this point, with how this first set is going, it almost feels like the first team, I guess the team that makes the least amount of mistakes serving-wise, is going to maintain the lead, and that's been the case so far. The Knights struggling, but the Liberty Flames having more service errors than the Knights, just by a little bit.
By a little bit, and that's definitely uncommon for the Knights. Usually by now, through their first rotation, somebody's gone on a little bit of a run with their serves.
Here's Bianchine. Mishandled set there. Here's Schaefer to Hall. That one falls for Hall. Gives the Knights a 3-point lead. You see the Flames backed up very, very far into the back court. You could expect maybe Bianchine try to attack inside the 10-foot line with some top spin. Bianchine was in place to get the dig, unable to get it back up into play. Of course, that would have been very difficult for anybody to contain. It was a lot of power behind that swing.
Yeah, that one was hit pretty well.
Here's Madsen to Schaefer. Miscommunication by the Flames results in a point for the Knights. Even after the mishandled serve receive, Brown was trying to set it up and ended up going behind him. Here's Tyler Schaefer to serve. trying to get it a little short. Results in a service ace for the Knights. Knights now with a 4-point lead. Here's Schaefer. Madsen to Hall. Across the middle. They're going to say that was out. Looked like it may have been close to being in from the hit from number 4, Cross Edwards. There's also a possibility that it could have possibly been tapped by a Knight at the net. But I think what they're claiming is that the ball hit the net, rolled over, but still maintained momentum to where it went out of bounds.
Yeah, I believe that was the call. I didn't see a Knight there real close enough to get a finger on that.
Hall was in position, but that goes down as a kill for number 13, Tyler Wemple. Now back to serve for Liberty is number 9, John Sauter. Schaefer to Brown, running across the back line. Now it's to run back in position with the amazing dig. Knights have to get it back over. They're called double on Rasmussen. But the effort from Brown, if you watched Brown throughout that entire play, he went from being on this near side, getting it to Tyler Schaefer, and then he ran across the back row to the right side for the hit, then ran back into position to get the dig to keep the play alive. Beautiful block from Christian Schaefer.
And just going back to that play by Jeremy Brown, he was airborne, parallel to the ground when he hit that back over his head.
A lot of people like to think because the court's so much more contained than, say, basketball or any other sport, that there's not a lot of running around. That is certifiably false, ladies and gentlemen. There's still a lot of hustling that takes place on a volleyball court, and Jeremy Brown exhibited that beautifully just then. That goes out off the hand of Jayton Hall. And the Flames bring it back to a 3-point deficit. Number 8 now serving for the Flames. That is Kenneth Keith. Here's Rasmussen sailing into the air. Beautiful quick set from Tyler Schaefer. Rasmussen comes out of the game. You could tell him greeting his teammates, he liked that setup quite a bit. Now back to serve for the Knights is Tomlinson. Schaefer to Brown. Kept alive by Edwards. Christian Schaefer flying in from the back line. Block from Bianchine. Bianchine and Brown were right there. In perfect position to make that play, and they did. With Tomlinson back to serve once again. Another block for Bianchine, but kept alive by the Flames. So it won't count as a block. How they're able to keep that one alive is beyond me, folks. Here's Hall. Gets that one to fall.
That was a great dig there by Liberty. I mean, that ball that Bianchine hit, he hit that hard. And they managed to somehow keep that off the ground.
Absolutely phenomenal play from both sides of the floor. And then Hall able to capitalize on it. Another block for Bianchine. He didn't get the stat for the block before. Gets it that time. But another thing I want to point out is the fact that the Knights were convinced that they got that block from Bianchine. And then immediately when they realized, oh, it's still in play, the whistle hasn't blown, went back into action, and then they were able to get the point as that serve goes out of bounds off Tomlinson.
But a good little service run there by Tomlinson coming into the game and scoring several points there for the Knights as they open up their lead here in this first set.
Now back to serve for the Flames is number 13, Tyler Wemple. Schaefer to Brown. The play was a little disrupted by the ceiling here in the barn. Schaefer had to adjust his positioning to get in place to get the pass to Brown, which in turn throws off your approach if you're the outside hitter. Here's Wemple once again. Schaefer to Hall. That's becoming a trademark of his, finding the opening and just exerting a little bit of power to put it right where it needs to be. And Hall will be back to serve. Here's a serve from Hall. A service ace for the Knights. And I wish, folks, that you guys could hear the conversations we hear on the sidelines sometimes. It cracks you up as a commentator. You have to learn to not laugh at things that are just certifiably hilarious.
Yeah, I wasn't sure we were going to find out what that little conversation was between Christian Schaefer and Coach Peterson, but we found out.
On the outside with a hit was Zachary Lemereau, but it's too short. Puts Knights at 22 points. Here's Hall for the serve. Beautiful serve from Hall. Diving after it was Mason Ellenberger. But in spite of that effort, it flies right into the net, and there's no one there to dig it out. The Knights 2 points away from closing out this first set. Bianchine denies Jared Vasquez. Is the outside. Bianchi has been a formidable opponent at the net. Tyler Schaefer getting in on the action as well. Schaefer to Schaefer, that time too far. Again, Christian Schaefer flying up from the back line, elevating. Didn't quite get on top of the ball like he wanted. Somehow, both Schaefer brothers able to keep that play alive. Here's Hall. That's going to go out of bounds. Point to the Knights. Set point. And that was a close one. You could have easily called that one just off the net. But there's a blocker right there who may have grazed it before it went out of bounds. Here's Brown for the serve. That one's just a little too far.
Going for the ace there.
He wanted that one very badly. In fact, there have been a lot of sets in the early goings this season that have been closed out by a service ace, if my memory serves me right. Now back to serve for the Flames is Lemereau. Schaefer. It's the Schaefer special to close out the first set. Ring the bell in the kitchen. Your meal is done. Provided to you by the brothers of Schaefer. What a first set for Southern Virginia. Again, Liberty University gave them all they could handle in the early goings, very much back and forth. A lot of it was due to service errors and serve receive. Again, both teams getting warmed up into the game. But the last stretch, the Knights really able to capitalize on a lot of the advantages they have with their outside hitters, with their passing, and also Bianchi coming alive at the net.
What a first set he had there at the net. You know, several blocks. You know, stats aren't going right now, so we're not sure how many, but he had 4 or 5.
He at least got his hands on 6 or 7 of those hits from the Flames, and again, just all over the place. And you can describe every player on the Knights roster with that same description in that first set, because again, you saw the hustle from Brown. He was running all over the place. Tyler Schaefer running down passes in order to get setups to the outside hitters or the middle blockers. Again, in games like this against club teams, we've mentioned how easy it is to get caught up in the fact that it's a club team, and it's very easy to get lulled to sleep. But the Knights proving there, they weren't falling asleep at any point. And so we got some stats here, actually. We got Christian Schaefer and Jane Haller were leading the Knights statistically with 4 kills each. No surprise there. Both have been absolutely fantastic in their early goings this season. And Tyler Schaefer with 8 assists, which again is staying true to what he does. He's the facilitator of this offense, and I've rarely seen a mishandled set from Tyler Schaefer so far this year.
Oh no, there was the one that hit the ceiling here in the barn that threw the timing off there for his outside hitter, but other than that, if it's a clean pass, he handles it and he puts it up there and really lets these hitters for the Knights go up and get it.
He absolutely does. We also have some stats about Christo Bianchine and Christian Schaefer. Christo Bianchine statistically ended that set with 1.5 blocks, and Christian Schaefer also with 1.5 blocks. And again, those two were just all over the place. They caused a lot of problems for the Flames at the net. Bianchine, again, when he got that second block, or I guess that half block, looked back at his bench, held up the number 2 saying, there's my second one, I got it again. So a lot of things working well for Southern Virginia. And with the short break, we want to give a special thank you to our athletic partners, Straws Drinks and Eats here in Buena Vista, Virginia. If you're in the Buena Vista, Virginia for any reason, whether you're visiting a student or an athlete, visiting a brother, sister, son, daughter, or just in the area for any reason, go and check out Straws Drinks and Eats. Great drinks, great snacks, and great times. Thank you so much for partnering with us, Straws Drinks and Eats, in your support of SVU athletics.
One thing, Dawson, you were talking about was the hustle, and that's what championship teams are made of. These SVU Knights, they cover the floor, they cover so much ground, they play with such a passion and energy for the game that they really make it look easy, and that's what you're looking for.
Absolutely, and we also got some stats for Liberty University. Their leaders in kills right now are Lamoureux with 2, as well as Wemple with 2. And they also have Edwards has 1, and Sauter has 1 as well. And leading in assists right now is Kenneth Keith with 6 to his name. And so again, Liberty after that first set, again, they were back and forth with Southern Virginia, making some plays, struggled in the final stretch that first set. And in the game of volleyball, you have to have a short-term memory. That first set is done, it's over. You don't let that dwindle in this next set. It's a whole new game, and that's the beauty of volleyball. It's kind of a fresh start, if you will. It's like, again, in Liberty's game against Virginia Tech, they were up 2-1, and Virginia Tech came back and won it 3-2. It's never over in the game of volleyball until the final point. There's always ways to come back, fight back into it. So Liberty, of course, at this point, wanted to battle back, make things even with Southern Virginia. Here's Brown. Great dig that time. Be a point for Southern Virginia. But the dig from number 13, Tyler Wemple. Wemple's done a fantastic job here in the first set and 1 point. And back to serve for the Knights is Hall. That serve just short. Serving troubles continuing to remain for Southern Virginia. And subbing in for the Flames to serve is number 18, Zachary Bell. That serve also just short.
Almost like we just started the first set all over again there. Some early troubles here for the two teams getting serves in.
It's like I said, each set is a new game, so might as well start the first or second set like you did the first. Here's a setup to the outside. Edwards trying for the back corner. A little bit too strong on that one. It's a great idea, though. There was no defender in that back corner. Just a little bit more accuracy, and you got yourself a point. Here's Brown's serve. Hits the net and rolls over, gets the friendly roll. Another point to the Knights.
No way you can defend that one.
You really can't unless you have super speed or able to jump and dive on the floor about 15 feet in front of you. In position that time were both Christian Schaefer and Christo Bianchine. Again, both having a block and a half in that first set. No surprise, they're in position yet again. Diving for that dig was Brown. Net on Bianchi. He basically dug his fingers into the net to keep that ball in play. Now back to serve once again for the Flames is number 7, Zachary Lamoureux, the freshman from Clemens, North Carolina. Schaefer special. That time the Flames were ready for it. Christian Schaefer right there was expecting the trickery from number 8, Kenneth Keith. Back to serve for the Knights is Cristo Bianchi. Here's Bianchi. The setup. The block for Tyler Schaefer. Not only can he pass, but he can block as well. It's almost like that scene from the film Friday Night Lights. And he can pass, but insert block for the word pass. Here's Bianchi again. The diving effort from Ellenberger makes it so the Flames can keep it alive. Schaefer special once again. Most frequently ordered item off the menu of Southern Virginia.
We'll have to petition the cafeteria here on campus to come up with a Schaefer special. Find out what types of food those two brothers like to eat.
Of course, we'll get a TM next to the name there for trademark purposes. Here's Schaefer to Hall. Off the hand of Edwards. Ends up hitting the antenna out of bounds, so a point for the Knights. As the Knights extend their lead to 7 points. Trying to make sure the antenna is back in place at the net. Here's Bianchi. Schaefer to Brown. Amazing dig that time from Wemple. Schaefer diving for it. That one sails out, point to the Flames. Another thing a lot of people don't tend to realize is that the setter on any team you look at in volleyball arguably runs the most. Because if you don't have a proper first pass, they're chasing after, trying to track it down, get a solid pass to the outside hitter. That time, beautiful setup to Rasmussen once again. If my memory serves me correctly, that's 2 for 2 when Schaefer sets it up to Rasmussen in the middle.
Yeah, they've been on the same page tonight. I think Rasmussen, that's his, he's 3 for 3 tonight on kills.
That hit sails out off the hand of Tyler Wemple. Point for Southern Virginia. So back to serve is number 10, Tyler Schaefer. Having to wipe down the floor. Always got to be careful. Make sure to prevent possible injuries. And we're back in business with Schaefer behind the line. Block for Rasmussen. He read that like a book. As that was number 9, John Sauter running up. It was a great set that time from Keith. But again, if you have Rasmussen in position right there, it's hard to get anything done.
Yeah, we saw in the second half of that first set, and we're seeing it continue here. The Flames are just having a hard time with the Knights' athleticism and height.
And And at that point, you kind of have to play a little smarter, find the gaps in their blocking, especially if you have people like, Christian Schaefer, Bianchine, who have been teaming up on a lot of these hits so far today. You got to find the gaps in their blocks, figure out where to hit it. If you want to hit it further back, what corner do you want to hit? Got to make the adjustments with number 9, John Sauter, back to serve. Schaefer to Hall. And ready for that one was Lemereau. Another block for Schaefer. And of course, that makes her job as a blocker easier. When the set for the other side is set so far outside like that one was, you're trying to hit it back inside. So really, your hands can be facing anywhere.
Right.
And it still will probably land in bounds. So if the Flames can get their sets a little bit more inside, again, that was another example of they going a little too far to the left side. That goes down for the Knights as well. But again, if the Flames can get those sets just a little more inside the antenna, it gives themselves more of a chance of, if it does get a hand on it, of going out of bounds if the Knights aren't in the right position and don't have their hands facing inside.
And it gives the hitters options, whether they can go back inside or down the line. But several of those have been right up tight against the antenna, and they have one direction where they can go. Like that same thing right there again.
And we're seeing some great work in the back row with number 1, Mason Ellenberger. He's had a lot of hard hits thrown his way, and he's been able to handle a lot of them. Now number 11, Christian Schaefer, back to serve. That was close to being out. But getting it was number 7, Zachary Lemereau. And those ones are close calls. That much top spin, it could easily land on the back line. We've seen that happen several times from Christian Schaefer serves. Here's a setup. That sails out. Actually, they're going to say that it was tipped by a Knight. So points the Flames. It was kind of difficult to tell if it sailed out simply because he got underneath it rather than on top of it, or if he hit it and it got tipped and pushed upward. Getting a kill to fall. It's number 18, Kyler Evans. We failed to mention him coming into the game. He's one of those that's come in around the second set or maybe early in the third, and he's been able to contribute a lot in the games that he has played in. Also more substitutions. Coming into service, number 14, Curtis Stone, who was very consistent from behind the back line against the club team from University of North Carolina. Had multiple service aces. Here's Schaefer to Bianchine. Johnny on the spot that time was Lemereau. That goes down for Evans. So back-to-back kills for the sophomore from Gilbert, Arizona.
And that time Christian Schaefer stepped right in there to set for his brother, who actually had that first touch on that possession right there.
Absolutely. We mentioned number 12 for Liberty, Jerry Vasquez, staying at 6'9". As Liberty doing a great job at saving that play. Schaefer to Schaefer. Beautiful effort from Culpepper. Here's Evans. Blocked that time by Wemple. What I was saying before that play is that you have Jared Vasquez for Liberty staying at 6'9", and now on the Knights, you have subbed in 6'8" Kyler Evans to kind of combat that a little bit. That's a nice little competition you got going right there at the net. Back to serve is now number 13, Tyler Wemple. That serve just short for Wemple. Now back to serve is number 15, Jayton Hall. Nice back set And a kill for Lamoureux. Got some more substitutions for the Flames, including number 9, John Sauter. And subbing in to serve is number 18, Zachary Bell. Flames trailing by 12. That serve's going to sail out. Put the Knights at 20. Kyler Evans will be back to serve and got number 1, Mason Ellenberger, back on the floor for the Flames. Back set once again for Lamoureux. Evans keeps that alive. The pass to Schaefer. It's going to be tipped. There's also net on the Flames, so point to the Knights. So even if the hit wouldn't have gone inbounds, would have still been a point. Here's Evans again. That serve just short. And now back to serve for Liberty is Lamoureux. Here's the serve. Another short serve for the Flames. Again, that's been a consistent struggle in these first 2 sets for Liberty.
Yes, they've had a number of service errors, and certainly hasn't helped their cause here in the second set as they're down 14 points here.
I think a lot of it may be due to them tossing up for the jump serve and them having to jump more forward for it than they would like. As a trick play there that time from number 9, John Sauter. He had Schaefer and Bianchi right in front of him, but basically took a page out of the book of Jayton Hall, tapped it over, and so it's hard for them to get it on the way down.
It looked like he almost tapped it right into Christian Schaefer's chest. Made it very hard to handle.
Hit right up to Schaefer, and he knocks it down. Initially a solid dig from Wemple, but the pass goes right back over, and Schaefer was just chomping at the bit to hit that one.
That was a little hard to handle itself.
Yeah. So now Tyler Schaefer back to serve. Back row hit by Edwards. Here's Wemple. Blocked by both Rasmussen and Hall. Difficult to tell which one got the majority of on it. I believe they'll just give each of them half a block. Set point for Southern Virginia. And like many sets so far this year, that set is victorious for Southern Virginia due to a service ace. So again, the Knights carried over a lot of momentum they had in the final plays of the first set. Throughout the majority of this second set, able to play really clean volleyball, able to get some solid setups. Like, again, the work at the net for the Knights has really been instrumental in building these big leads, pulling away in the final points. That time, of course, the score being 25-9 in favor of Southern Virginia. So, if you include exhibition so far, the Knights have won 14 straight sets to begin the 2023 season. Of course, there's still a long way to go to even think about any possible win streak records or anything like that. But again, you're looking at that as a Southern Virginia team, as a fan of Southern Virginia, as a coach, player, whatever the case may be. If you're associated with Southern Virginia in any way, you're impressed with that. Because the game of volleyball, it's hard to maintain that amount of consistency and get 14 straight set victories.
Especially like you say, you know, the other night Liberty was down ahead 2-1 to Virginia Tech, and they ended up losing that match.
Right.
So sometimes you go in there, sets, you know, the service aces or the service errors that might become contagious.
Right.
You know, down the lineup or whatever it is. So to be able to go out there 14 consecutive sets and perform at at such a consistently high level, that's where you start looking at, okay, how good are these Knights?
Right.
What's the season going to bring for them? And as a coach, you have to be satisfied that you can't really look at any stretch at any point in those 14 sets where they became complacent, played down to the level of competition, or anything that you really fear when you're coaching a group of young men, young women, whatever they may be.
Absolutely. And Colby, as a coach yourself, you've seen plenty of teams throughout the years. What are some common things with teams that maintain that type of consistency? Like, again, you mentioned the Southern Virginia men's volleyball having. What are some things that correlate with all those different teams that go on those long winning streaks?
Oh, definitely the consistency.
Right.
And also with the ability and desire to continue working hard.
Right.
It's always a catch when you're successful and you might be inclined to not work so hard. Going to practice, what's the attitude of the players? Are they still trying to get better every practice, or do they think they're as good as they can be?
Right.
And it's those teams that are always working better to fine-tune everything. Because I'm sure if you asked every one of the players on this Knight bench, they would all say that they could improve on something.
Right.
And even tonight, or in any of these matches that they've played thus far, in any set, I don't think any one of them would say, that's as well as I can play.
Right, absolutely. Again, the lack of complacency, always got to be working hard, make sure you're improving your game every single day. I mean, you look at some of the greatest athletes in the world, like, for instance, in the NBA, LeBron James or Steph Curry, they're never taking breaks. They're constantly working on their craft. Same thing with players in the NFL. People like Patrick Mahomes, quarterback for the Chiefs, who's making it to the Super Bowl this year. There's a lot of work that goes into it that's just consistent. You never stop, and that's what makes great teams and great players what they are.
And this camaraderie that you see out here on the floor with
right.
these guys, they're constantly cheering each other on, bringing each other up, always smiles on their faces.
Right.
And that's what you want to see also, is a team that enjoys being around one another, a team that enjoys practicing and going to battle for one another.
Right, absolutely. And just looking at some of the stats here, leading the way in kills. Christian Schaefer now with 3, and Kyler Evans now with 2, just in that second set alone, really doing a great job of coming in and making an impact automatically on the floor for Southern Virginia. Some communication on the floor going on with rotation for the Flames. And as far as blocks is concerned, you have Christian Schaefer, who has 1 solo block and 3 block assists. And then, you have Jayton Hall, who has 1 block assist. You have Krista Bianchine, that's credited with 1 block assist, but I'm pretty sure we can say he has multiple blocks in this game, especially in that first set. He was all over the place.
His presence has certainly been much more than just that 1 block.
Right, absolutely. And then Steven Rasmussen with 3 block assists and 1 solo block to his name as well. Working the net, just phenomenal right now for Southern Virginia as they open up this third and potentially final set against the Flames of Liberty. Schaefer to Brown. It looked like they were about to call it as a point for the Flames because the ball did land out of bounds, but it was tipped at the net, I believe, by Tyler Wemple. So the first point of the third set goes to the Knights. That serve just short. Again, service errors been the name of the game for both teams. Schaefer to Hall. Doing a great job of adjusting to that one was Edwards. The dig from Hall. Back row, Schaefer. Back row, Wemple. Gets that one to fall. And the Flames take the lead. Already in the early goings of this third set, we're seeing a renewed fire, pun not intended, in the Flames team on the floor right now. Schaefer to Bianchine. Extending with the full length of his body to get that one back over. Point to the Knights. I mean, Bianchi literally had to use every single inch of that 6'4" height and some. Beautiful kill that time for Lemereau.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Dawson, we're seeing a much better rhythm here from the Flames here as they begin this third set.
Now back to service number 10, Noah Marine. His first set, or first serve, rather, of this match. The setup from Schaefer, just a little too low for Bianchi. Now the Flames take a 2-point lead. Here's Bianchi. He would not be denied that time. You just know after that last missed opportunity that Tyler Schaefer looked at Bianchi and said, I got you this time.
Let's do it again. Do it again. And that very next pass, of course, great pass there by Christian Schaefer to set that up.
Now Bianchi back to serve. Knights trailing by 1. A quick push to number 9, John Sauter. Again, it just feels like the Flames are more comfortable right now. They seem like they're getting a good setup on their first passes. They're not in a rush like they were in the first 2 sets. Here's Lemereau. And that one sails out. Point to the Knights. Tyler Schaefer back to serve for Southern Virginia. Recovering that one was Edwards. Stone keeping it alive. That falls the point for Southern Virginia. It's kind of a late whistle. It almost seemed like that Wemple had dove in and kept it alive.
And then Ellenberger hit it with his foot, and it almost looked like they were going to let that go. Like as though it hadn't hit the ground.
That one sails out of bounds. Another point to the Knights. So the Knights take the lead. Schaefer back to serve once again. And again, we talk a lot about Tyler Schaefer and the productivity he's had this year so far, but one thing you gotta understand is that in volleyball, your whole offensive production goes through your setter. If you have a quality setter, you're a much more formidable opponent, and Tyler Schaefer has been that. Again, we mentioned at the beginning of the game, he's averaging just over 9 assists per set throughout the year. Had 100 assists going into this game. That point falls for the Flames. Now back to serve for Liberty is Cross Edwards. Nice float serve. Schaefer special, incoming. Ordered and delivered. That play was just like how I like my pizza. Sizzling hot. Here's Christian Schaefer to serve. Flames somehow able to get back over, even though there was a lot of miscommunication. Brown reaching up for that one. Madsen to Hall. Edwards coming in from the back row. The set was a little low for him, so it goes into the net. We've seen several rallies so far in this match where both teams have put forth a lot of defensive effort, people running all over the place to keep plays alive. That time it would just seem like nobody wanted the ball. It's like they're playing hot potato that time.
Yeah, in fact, the Knights bench at some point was saying, somebody hit it. They were tired of watching the finesse game that was going on.
Wemple that time pretty much put everything he had into that one, as that one sails out of bounds. Christian Schaefer back to serve once again. That serve just short for Schaefer. Now back to serve for the Flames is number 9, John Sauter. Brown gets that one to fall. Gets us commentators involved in the game a little bit as that was hit out.
Yep, we've each had a couple touches tonight, keeping us involved here.
Absolutely, we love to see it. Here's Stone to serve, another short serve for Southern Virginia. You know, if you look at service errors for the Knights, in the first 2 sets, they had a combined 10 service errors compared to 9 for Liberty. So again, that's been a big deal for both teams so far in this matchup, with number 8, Kenneth Keith, back to serve for the Flames. Schaefer to Bianchine. You cannot contain this man. Meeting him at the net, trying to get in the way, was number 10, Noah Marine. And it tipped off his hand, sailing out of bounds. Now Jayton Hall back to serve. Bianchine keeping it alive. Tyler Schaefer wasn't quite able to get to it. That's another thing, too, that people don't quite realize about volleyball is that as a middle blocker, like Bianchine is, sometimes you have to just throw yourself out of the way. You know, middle blockers, they'll tell stories of people just shoving them down to get to the ball because they're in the way or having to run around them or them just having to duck out of the way. Again, they may just seem like they're standing at the net, but there is much more to the story. Schaefer, smart play that time. Now Jeremy Brown back to serve. Here's Lemereau. That one sails out. Knights now with a 4-point lead. Plenty of topspin on it, but it sails out on the near side. Now back to serve for the Flames is number 10, Noah Marine. Tomlinson trying to get to Bianchine. It was a beautiful setup, but Bianchine swung into the net. Serving once again is Marine. Here's Tomlinson. Bianchine. One to make up for that previous play. We've seen that twice now where Bianchine either has a pass that's not high enough for him and it ends up becoming a point for Liberty, and then they come back the very next play, try the same thing again. Same thing happened there. Tomlinson had got it up to Bianchine and went too far into the net. This time he said, I got you.
Making sure they fine-tune that play.
Bianchine to serve. Tomlinson to Evans. Great dig from Wemple. Lemereau. Tomlinson to Schaefer. Goes down for Schaefer off of John Sauter's hands. Knights now with a 4-point lead. Here's Bianchine to serve once again. Schaefer keeping that one alive. Here's Evans. Another kill for Evans. Evans is another one of those players where it seems like almost every time he touches the ball, good things happen.
Right, and that's what makes this nice team so good. You know, he's not a starter. but he comes in and immediately, you don't get a break
Right.
when the Knights substitute.
The Knights now with a 5-point lead. Here's Edwards. Going to be a point for the Flames. I believe it was Curtis Stone who last touched it. Got a substitution for the Flames as well. Number 3, Joshua Culpepper will come in for number 8, Kenneth Keith. With number 7, Zachary Lemereau back to serve. Great pass from Madsen. Getting his hand on it was Evans. And like you said, Colby, you don't really get a break at all when the Knights have substitutions. In their first rotation, blocking at the net, they have Christian Schaefer and Crystal Bianchi. Then now, at the net, the Flames have to worry about Curtis Stone and Kyler Evans.
And that's not even to mention, Steve Rasmussen.
Absolutely.
Who's played not as much tonight, probably because it's an exhibition.
Stone to Schaefer, the assist from Stone. You don't see that happen very often. But you know that as soon as he saw any of the chance, he took it. Looking back at his bench, holding up the finger, saying, I got 1 assist. The serve from Evans sailing out. And subbing back in are number 10, Tyler Schaefer, and number 15, Jayton Hall. They will come in for Kyler Evans and Jeff Tomlinson. Hoping to close out this third set and complete yet another sweep. Again, since this is an exhibition match, it won't count to their win-loss record. So they'll technically still be, if they complete this, they would still be 3-0. That kill goes down for Schaefer. They would still be 3-0 technically, but with the 2 exhibition matches between this one, or Liberty, and then North Carolina last week, they would technically be 5-0 on the year, winning 15 straight sets. Wemple with the pass. What a dig from Madsen. Almost like he did the splits in order to get it back to Tyler Schaefer. Here's Brown. Brown just a little too far into the net, so it'll count as a point for the Flames. But a beautiful setup for Brown.
Swinging for the fences there, just got too much momentum. Carried him over to the Liberty side of the floor.
Again, when Brown leaps, it's hard to contain the power in his jumping ability. That serve just short for number 9, John Sauter. Got some more substitutions. Number 1, Crystal Bianchi comes back into the floor, and now to serve for the first time tonight, number 17, Connor Stokes. He's known for his more unorthodox serving style, serving from all the way to the baseline of the basketball court. A little miscommunication. The ball sailed out off of Liberty. And it seemed like at first that both Tyler Schaefer and Jayden Hall thought the other had called for it. But fortunately for them, the miscommunication works out because it just falls out of bounds. Second serve that time from Stokes, a little too short. And with that, Justin Madsen takes the floor once again. And subbing in to serve for the Flames is number 8, Kenneth Keith. I believe they may have hit off of Keith's thumb there, as it's too short. Knights now 3 points away from closing out the sweep. That serve from Hall just short. Got a substitution for the Knights in number 3, Bryce Stringham. He'll get a chance to facilitate the offense here for at least a couple of points. And back to serve for the Flames is number 13, Tyler Wemple. Stringham trying to keep it alive at the net, and Bianchine was expecting a set more towards the middle of the net. So falls the point for the Flames. Here's Wemple. Stringham to Brown. Diving forward to Schaefer. There'll be a net on Bianchine. There's a nice setup there from Stringham. So the Flames making things a little interesting here late in the third set. Another short serve for the Flames. Back to serve for the Knights, Jeremy Brown. Lamoureux able to keep it in play. Stringham to Evans. Has to swing across his body for that one. And it sails out. A pass like that is tough to play where it's just too short for you to get a full swing on the right arm. And if you're not comfortable swinging with your left, you have to go across your body, kind of be a contortionist a little bit. Here's Stringham to Evans. Making up for that last pass again. This Knights offense does a great job of, I missed that one, let's try it again, see you next time.
You always like that as a teammate where you know if you make a mistake, they're willing to go right back at you and get you right back on track.
Absolutely. Set point for Southern Virginia with Curtis Stone checking back in. And Christo Bianchine back to serve. Those in attendance holding up the 1-point finger. That one sails on Bianchine. So now back to serve will be for the Flames, number 7, Zachary Lamoureux. And that goes down as a service ace for the Flames. One of the few we've seen from them tonight. And for the first time in today's match, the Flames are in the 20s. Stringham to Schaefer. And that closes out this match. It's another sweep for your Knights of Southern Virginia as they take the third set with a score 25-21 over the Flames of Liberty University. Again, Liberty came in here, played Southern Virginia really tough, especially in that third set. After the second set where they stumbled a bit and didn't look that clean, didn't look that organized, they came back and made things interesting for Southern Virginia and really made them earn the sweep here today.
Yeah, they came back and they were much more organized and cleaner in their passes. You know, allowed them and less service errors in that third set as well.
Right.
You know, so it kept it a little bit closer. I think Southern Virginia was trying a couple new things too, a couple wrinkles there in that third set. So you don't mind seeing that score as close as it is. But you know, kudos to Liberty for sticking around and making it a tough third set.
Absolutely, they did indeed. So the Knights getting another sweep to start the 2023 season in their 5th straight home game. Of course, this being the second of the 2 exhibitions here in the early goings of the season. The Knights will face off actually this next Friday, or I guess this Friday, their first away game of the year against California Lutheran University in Ashland, Virginia. Then they'll have another away game the following day at Randolph-Macon College. So back-to-back away games after starting the season with 5 straight home games. So again, at that point, you're used to playing in the barn, you're used to the home court advantage. It'll be interesting to see what the Knights do there to respond. And the next time you'll see them here on Knights Broadcasting will be on February 9th, a Thursday, here in the barn against the Hokies of Virginia Tech. So again, a little bit of a break for the Knights and their home crowd. But again, what a start for Southern Virginia in this season.
Oh, absolutely. You can't do any better than what they've done. Like we said, they haven't dropped a set so far this season, and everything's been very clean.
It absolutely has. Both teams gathering in center court to share a prayer after the game. You always love to see sportsmanship like that, caring for one another, making sure that we know like we're all both playing the game that we love, and just showing that great camaraderie there. You always love to see it. But once again, the Knights stay at 3-0 on the season so far. If you count exhibition games, they're 5-0 on the year, on a roll. You love to see it. Again, next time we see them on Knights Broadcasting is February 9th, Thursday, against the Hokies of Virginia Tech. On behalf of myself, Donson Wiedrich, my friend here, Colby Kemp, we thank you so much for tuning in and supporting Knights Athletics here on Knights Broadcasting. Good night, God bless, and go Knights.